So, my name is Matt McGee. I'm an electrical engineering technologist at the Peterbilt plant in Denton. What is electrical engineering technologist? That I'd describe it as all the fun parts of being an engineer with none of the desk work, or not nearly as much. You get to work with your hands too, and use your brain. So when I was in grade 11 or 12, something like that, I thought I wanted to be a preacher. And then did a research project kind of like what you're doing now, and found out that most of preaching isn't the public speaking and teaching bit that I would enjoy. It is dealing with people constantly. The counseling, therapy, admin, didn't want to do that. So talked to some uncles and grandfathers' co-workers, and what jumped out at me was electrical engineering technology. So I went to college in Canada, and in Canada you get into electrical engineering technology through a college program, which would be a 3-year technologist. I believe if you wanted this education down in the States, most of what you're looking for is going to be associates in engineering. You want to find a nice hands-on school, not one with a clean lab. The school I went to, Sault College of Applied Arts and Technology in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, had all the old spares from the local steel plant. They didn't always work, which is perfect, because what you're in school for isn't to learn how to pass all the school tests. It's to learn how to learn and get experience that applies to the real world. Yeah, the best class in school I had, the teacher gave us all our assignments for the year at the beginning of the semester, and then he was basically impossible to find. You did them at your own pace, and that was probably the best class, because that's the real world. No one's holding your hand. So you go to school, learn how to learn. Because nothing you ever get handed is going to be something you've seen before. There's just way too many bits and pieces out there that could be installed in machinery. What you're learning is the lingo and how to read a manual, so you can quickly go, yep, I searched a few keywords in a PDF and now I know how this thing works, and everyone's amazed and you keep your job. When I graduated, that was smack in the middle of the recession in 2010. So it took a little bit to find a job. I wound up in northern Manitoba in Canada, working for a little manufacturer, and I showed up 2 weeks after my predecessor left, and for 7 years I was the electrical engineering department at that company. I got to do a lot of design, prototype stuff, and what I found out through that is electrical engineering, if you think you like building things, you think, oh, I'll go be a mechanical engineer. Well, those guys get stuck drawing all the drawings. The electrical guy, you're in control of the power and the automation and the switches and the safety. You kind of actually get to dictate the design, and someone else has to do all the hard work of drawing all the linkages and brackets and structure. And you get to program the logic that makes the thing work. So that job was fun. Near the end, I helped develop a sheet metal storage system, basically a lift on the front of a rack of steel that went up and down and got you steel and saved a lot of space in the shop. That company, that's kind of what we did, was motorized and automated storage solutions that put your merchandise up high in the airspace you're paying for but not using. So that job eventually turned into a traveling job, because that new product I helped develop, I was the one that knew it best, so I had to be on an airplane every month. And if you're into that, that's great. I kind of wasn't. In the course of traveling around, though, met my future wife and decided to move to her town. And to tell you how kind of employable this electrical engineering technology thing is, we put a wedding announcement in the paper that mentioned I was in engineering, and someone called us before I even put a resume out, and I had a job lined up. Pretty much the same story when my wife relocated down here to Gainesville, Texas. I spent a couple evenings on ZipRecruiter app just throwing things out, and within a couple weeks had 2 job offers, both of which had a pension lined up. It is very employable, so if you just want to not be out of work ever and really don't care what you do, also a great option. Peterbilt got me first, so now I'm on night shift maintenance, and that's fun. We have a giant plant full of things of various ages, so we have some fun old stuff with bad documentation that you got to figure out and use your head. We have some new stuff that makes you go to training classes to keep you up to date with the state of the art. In Peterbilt lingo, I'm a grade 5 electrical engineering tech, and what that means is I do all the hard problems for the plant, all the ones that will have to adjust a program or change parameters on a motor controller, all the really complicated stuff. There's grade 4s on the line which do the routine problems, the PMs. I get to do the fun thinking work and all the really weird troubleshooting problems. Hello, Black Cat. So I've done design. Design's a lot of fun. I've done flying around installing. If you're into that, that's definitely open to you, and you get to see a lot of places. And I all over US and Canada, I can say, yeah, I've been there. Maintenance is a nice kind of relaxing gig. It's hurry up and wait, and then panic and fix it as quick as possible, which is a good challenge. Oh, another thing. For all you guys that like working on cars, the skills you pick up in this work great for your hobby projects, because mechanical stuff you eventually figure out. Electrical is kind of its whole other way of thinking about things you can't see, but those troubleshooting skills, they cross over to your hobby. So if you're into RC planes or jeeping or motorcycles, all the problems you're into, you have that troubleshooting skill set that's useful for your whole life. Anyway, I'm Matthew McGee, and electrical engineering technology might be something you should look into if that sounded at all interesting.